Instead of writing some stuff out on paper, I thought it would be fun to just do like a little exercise. So, what's the mission here? We are going to write a piano sonata, and I want to write the simplest one possible. Well, I guess my thought process was everything that I'm doing, I always end up getting way too complicated, so I thought let's just put the brakes on and simplify everything by like a million factors. Let's write just the absolute simplest piano sonata I can think of. We're going to lay down some ground rules. We are going to write our nice little sonata form. Recap is going to be exactly the same. I already know what the recap is going to be. We finished 1/3 of the piece. Simplest harmonies possible. We're going to be in C major. How about that? We're going to keep this dead simple. We're going to use chords 1, we're going to use 5, we're going to use 4 flavor chords. If we want to get fancy, we're going to use some other things. Oh my goodness, and they're minor too. How about that? Simplest rhythmic ideas possible. 4/4. None of this fancy 3/4, none of this 5/4, none of this 7/8, no meterless music today. We are writing in 4/4. No triplets. We're going to keep this dead simple. The only time I'm going to break a rule is if it's something that is so easy to do, it doesn't make writing the piece any more tricky. It's not going to make the counterpoint any different, which reminds me, no counterpoint. Right hand melody. We are not going to be doing anything fancy in the left hand. Left hand is just going to be supporting us. No intro, no coda. Let's talk about left hand / accompaniment vocabulary. Good old Alberti bass, a good old ostinato, repeated chords, quarter note, lines, bass line, etc. You can always do whole notes. Right hand / melody vocabulary. Pretty melodies. And simple melodies. Quarter notes and eighth notes. We're basically sticking to that. And we're going to have rests and stuff. Scales. There we go. And arpeggios, which is also something we can totally do in the left hand. Whole notes and half notes. I'm writing that in there too. Check this out. No cool stuff. But then the music will suck, and you bet it will. No fancy keys. Well, maybe for the development, but not for theme 2. Speaking of which, okay, let's do our sonata stuff. Theme 1, theme 2. Recap is going to be a super hard recap. Theme 2, same thing, but in the correct key. In C major, key of 1, G major, key of 5. I wish I could do a little hat so I could do scale degree 5. You know what, just so it's different. There we go. Theme 1, theme 2. Okay, and then it's going to have some transition material, but we're going to keep it dead simple. And guess what? No transition material here. Development's going to go hog wild. So how many measures is it going to be? Let's say this. Same length as exposition. However long we figure out the exposition is going to be. So a bunch of episodic / freeform music. Small transition back to recap. That's going to be necessary. I guess I'm making concessions and things that I know are just going to kind of suck if they don't happen. This is where things get tricky. It's easy enough to say, hey, look, I have a theme, but what is it? Let's do this. Left hand Alberti bass. We're just going to do that. Let's see. D. Left hand chords. Yeah, I wrote half notes, I wrote whole notes. I'm just going to write chords. Held chords. Everything else, we'll figure this out in a moment. I'm going to mark everything red. That's like, we need to figure this out. Transition material. The goal is to be super simple. I'm going to write this down for a dead simple sonata. I'm making it red, I'm making it bold, I'm making it all caps. This is a reminder to me because I always get more ambitious than I should. Transition material. Should it just use theme 1? Should it just be random stuff? Okay, I'm gonna write this though. Same spirit as theme 1. That much should be clear. And it's going to, let's see. Okay. End on satisfying C major cadence. End on satisfying G major half cadence. which in this case is going to be a nice D7. This is going to end on bigger G major cadence. And just to clarify that, then theme 1. Because this is actually the end of a bigger section, so it needs a bigger cadence. I'm going to write approximately, because I'm just going to kind of write stuff. Use different left-hand stuff than in exposition. Can use melodic material from exposition, can also be completely new. Oh, that took about 15 minutes. Not bad. Can I just follow that and make something super dead simple and figure out like the exact number of measures that it's going to be? Structure. Stick to powers of 2. 2 measure phrase. I guess 4 measure phrase. This is something that I'm allowing myself. But can cut short if musically applicable or pad with ending material. I'm going to highlight this green just to indicate that it's not bad, but I am violating the rules. That makes it less simple, but it doesn't make it any more difficult to write by just saying I'm going to make this phrase like not a square 4 measure phrase or 4 measure theme, just by saying when I cadence, the next theme is going to start. Or I'm just going to add like 1 extra measure just to like make the cadence a little bigger. That's just like a little musical consideration. That's just me literally going, I'm adding measures here because it sounds good. It's going to make it less dead simple, but it's one of those concessions I'm making so it's not super duper boring. Okay, so theme 1. I should figure out what is going to be in the, what should be in the melody. Should it be all scales? Let's make it scales. Arpeggios. Okay, left-hand chords. And this on right hand. Simple melodies. And then for the development, left hand is going to be just doing different stuff. Right hand, mostly scales, because we haven't done much of that. Okay, let's just actually be more specific. What can I do in the left hand here? I'm doing ostinato, simple lines, held chords, arpeggios. Okay, great. I need to figure out what the keys and stuff are going to be, but maybe this is best left for actually like writing on the notes. Okay, I'm satisfied with this layout. So if we're doing C major and arpeggios, and we're doing an Alberti bass in the left hand, we basically start with this. I'm going to start with a rest, so it's just going to be forced to be a little different. I'm going to do that just because it is different than Mozart K, what is it, 545? Right hand. There we go. That's how we're starting. Oh, geez. It starts with 30-second notes. Is that really what I want? Is this in cut time, actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it is. We are indeed starting with 16th notes. Alright. So I'm adding articulations because I can. Left hand doesn't need anything. The performance practice is going to dictate what we do here. Adding fingering so I can not think about it. Yep. And I'm just doing whatever melody comes to my head, basically. It's actually going to be a little too complicated of a harmony, but we're going to allow it. I'm not writing something that's strictly like Mozart approved. Pretty simple so far. Okay. Should I do... Yeah, let's, in the spirit of keeping things simple, I'm going to remove the sevenths when the opportunity comes up. I could write a 5-7 chord here, but I am just going to write 5 because the 7 is not necessary to get the point across. Keep it simple. I didn't really write it, but in general, repeating material. That's how it's going to go. So normally I would opt to go up when I am repeating something because it creates a higher sense of tension, I think, that needs to be resolved, so it's a nicer shape. But in this case, I feel like we ended on a D and we can just do the same phrase starting on a D. Okay, adding this nice little appoggiatura just so that we have a little more variety. We get the second there again, so that's kind of nice. Alright, so now what do? We have a nice question and answer. We need to have an answer for this entire thing. And this is where I think we can tack on a little extra measure or remove a measure. What should the form be? That's something that should be in the document. Stick to forms. AABA, ABAC. Is there anything else that I'm going to allow myself to use? Is ABBA a thing? It can work. It's not as effective as A, B. That was A, B, A. A, B, A, C is a good one. And can I just do good old A, B, C, D? Yeah. I think that makes more sense than ABBA. That's all I'm going to use. So, some new ideas here. In general, repeat material. That's just going to be a ground rule. Whenever possible, repeat material, exclamation point. We're getting serious here. Structure, stick to powers of 2. 1 to 2 measure question and answer. 4 measure phrases, 8 measure themes. Stick to forms, AABA, ABAC, ABCD, but can cut short if musically applicable. Now this is pretty vague. Can cut short if sounds good. Or pad with N more cadence measures. Basically, if I end a phrase with, I can do this until I'm bored, because it's fine. I can also do something like this. That cut a measure out because I said that the last measure was the same as starting another thing. So we had a 7 measure phrase, sort of. Let's go back to the wild, wacky adventures of piano writing. Well, yeah, that works. It's not good, but it works. So, to be a little bit different, I am not going to start with a rest like the first one did. The first one goes up, so let's make this one go down. Something like that. That's just kind of like a variation on A, which we can do. Maybe we can make something that's a little bit different. I like that. It's different. Extending it a little bit because I want it to lead back to the G. Okay, sticking with the Alberti bass idea, but making it a little simpler, just adding a little variety. I think this is a good time to do that. If it's just continuing with that the whole time, it's not so great. Yeah, that's kind of nice. We can just change the left hand, move that down an octave. That's how it's going to be different the second time. Repeat it exactly. And the rule for when I'm not doing dead simple stuff, I guess, is just when it kind of sucks. I have to actually practice this. How lame. Yep. Okay. I think we got it. So the first time it goes ba-da-da-da-dum. Next time it goes ba-da-da-da-dum. Okay. That'll work. We can do a rest here. Hope the Mozart police won't kill me. Okay, so it's a little bit of a variation on it. I like it. Oh, you know what? This is actually where the phrase should end. So, I think I have the wrong idea in my head. This should be able to cap it off here. In fact, that should be a 5 chord there. Yeah, so what did I do that it's a little funny here? Whatever. It's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. So, what in the world am I doing here? Let me just finish writing this part. Feels like it should work. I'm breaking the rules because I just spontaneously thought of a thing that I'm putting down anyway. And let's tie those over. Let all those notes end at the same time. And I'm doing a thing. I just want this phrase to end right there, so tying it to an 8th note is kind of an indicator that this is the end of the phrase. It's not really an extra note per se. I think I can keep that exactly how one would write it. Nothing fancy. Simplicity is the goal. It's already more complicated than I would like it to be. Let's just play that slowly so we can hear what it sounds if it were played well. Better. Not well, but better. Okay, so that's an interesting take on that. Let's try that again. Already done with part 1. We're just going to do a transition. Sounds like Clementi or something. I don't like having this in the left hand. Yep, that's what we're doing. Neat. Okay, so yeah, check this out. I already know exactly what this is going to do. Oh my goodness, scales. Yep, We are just seamlessly going, we are just going to add that sharp in there. No one will know. I want to repeat that same pattern, more or less, that's in the first section, where that D is, it's not carried over, but the melody, when it picks up again, it is starting on where it left off. Yep, that works. This is a pretty vanilla melody, but that's the name of the game. There's alarm bells in my head going off that's saying, no, Simon, this is way too simple. You don't want to write this. Do I? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Yeah, let's do it a little bit differently. Changing it a little bit just for variety's sake. So, left hand I think can be exactly how we've been doing it. Except, now we have some direct octaves, maybe that could be, so look. Yeah, we're going to change the left hand pattern a little bit just so we don't have those direct octaves. Another perfectly acceptable pattern. So instead of, now it's going to be this. Instead of this. Because we have those direct octaves and it just doesn't sound as good. We lose some pretty harmonies. Okay, we can keep that pattern going. And again, keep it simple. This is going to be a D chord. No need to make it a D7. Let's figure out. Yeah, not so great. Oh, interesting. That's actually good. We're not completely cadencing in G yet, but we will get there. Okay, so I was playing around with different inversions, thinking I wanted to be, or different arpeggio patterns to see, okay, what will work with the right hand well, so that it says reasonably good counterpoint. I know I made a big note that said no counterpoint. I am breaking the rule, and it's taking some time, so I should be good. I'm a bad person, and I'm going to a bad place for these kinds of shenanigans. I did play around for not too long and found a good solution, so... And it doesn't have the chord in root position, which is kind of nice actually, and it's an accident, but something I should have done anyway, because we are not firmly in the key of G yet, but we are going to set that up. So guess what? I've already done an AA here, so now I'm committing myself to being in AABA form. Is there like an AAA form? I feel like this is something that I want to do intuitively, and if it's something I want to do super intuitively, I feel like it's something that should be allowed to the rule set. Nah, and now I actually need a new thing. Crazy. Okay, so we've changed it a little bit. Let's do that. This is interesting. I want to do chord progression stuff. That's basically where we're going. So we're here, but we haven't done that kind of cadence yet. We're at the 6/4 cadential 1, I guess you could call it. And you go to the 4 chord, and then back to the cadential 1. So, what's a good way to get to the half cadence here? I'm going to actually have to play with some chords here. I should know this, but we're figuring it out right now. We're just going to say that that works. I think if we alternate between this and this and... Okay, you know what? This is, I think, where I want to use a minor chord. Oh my goodness, this is going to be for flavor. Because we are in a different section that can be a bit more unstable, so we can introduce some new stuff that is not what we had before. That is a little bit out of the ordinary. In the real world, no, but in this piece, yeah. But it has to be a B section and it has to be 2 measures. That's the rule. And then this is going to be a D7 chord right here. So I have to get from here, this chord. Hey, where'd my piano go? How long has that been gone? Hooray! There we go. It has to go from here to somewhere, and then somewhere again, and then to here. So we can go there. So we can end up there. These 2 measures, I need to find the chords that are going to fill that bill. So, okay, what is the chord that's going to come before that? Probably. So this is a 5. 2 comes before the 5, so in that case we have A minor. And before the 2 comes, the 6 in this case is E minor. Do I want to go there already? Could go to E major. Ugh, that is a little too much. Both of those sound a little too extreme for me. Okay, there's some logic in there. What's an even dumber Haydnesque solution. Yeah, okay. I should know this. This is like a very stock solution I'm looking for. But I don't know it. That's unfortunate. Let's go back to our Word document. Chord progressions. For stock progressions. 1, 4, 5, 1. That's what I've used before. And 1. There's also 1, 5, 4, 1. That's a stock progression. Okay, so here's what I have. I have 1, 4. I'm not sure if I hope this is stock progression. 5, 6, 4. Not really. Where am I going to start? That's the question. I'm here, and I'm going to there, and I'm going to, in the course of a measure, I'm going to 5, 5, 1, 6, 4, 5. It could be 1, 4, 5, and then 6, 4, 5. Let's just see. So we're already on, we already moved to G. I don't think that was a mistake. Okay, in the spirit of keeping things really simple, we can start with a 4 chord, and we can just go to 1, then 5, 1, 5, 1. Yeah, okay. What inversion would this be? 6-3? I guess 6. Let's just call it 6-3 to not hurt my brain. Yeah, I'm going to put inversions in. No, you know what? Yeah, I am going to put inversions in here. Okay, what do we have? 1, 5. Let's just say this 5, 6, 3 to 4, 6, 4 to 1. And these are grouped together not because they happen at the same time, but because they're in the same measure. And I didn't really have a good way to write that. So that's what I wrote. Crisis averted, problem solved. All is right in the world. Back to our other view. Hooray, look at that. Okay, so that means we have Did I write 6-3? No, I wrote 6. It should be 6-4. 4 chords should be 6-4 inversion, and 5 chords should be 6-3 inversion. Why am I dumb? Fixed. Here's the correction I made. These were in the wrong inversion. I go to the trouble of writing the inversion, and then I write the wrong one because I am a genius, and I'm 400 steps ahead of you. So far ahead that I've lapped myself. Crisis averted. That means we are putting a G in the bass, but we're not giving the chord that we want. Okay, so I think it's okay if we end up with what is the 5 chord because we haven't modulated properly yet to the key of the 5. I think it's okay if we present that in root position now because it's still not going to feel like it's our home chord, so we can slip it in there. Now I figured out finally what the chord is going to be, and I need to figure out what the notes are going to be. So now we are going to see. Okay, I want this to push all the way into the next measure, and I don't want it to be just like, sorry, all the way to the end, and I don't want it to just be one big, long 16th note phrase. So to avoid that, I think I'm going to make it one long 8th note phrase. Yep, that's what it's going to be. Da, da, da. And it's a little bit different because now we have these lower neighbor tones and it's chromatic. Da, 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 da. Wait a minute. Oh, I really screwed up now. Darn. No, I didn't. Hooray, we're ending up with the thing. Now we are back in A territory, which is where we're supposed to be. And now it's a transition this time, which is kind of neat. It's kind of neat, but it's not that great. Not so inspired. Nothing here is inspired. It's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. Everything but the development. I think we can finish tonight. Yep, just repeating it. When in doubt, don't be creative at all. Just keep doing the same thing everybody else has always done. That is my career advice. Let's just make it a big old chord. That'll be a statement. Oh my goodness, you're playing multiple notes. 6 notes at a time, oh my goodness. Maybe this could be a slightly different shape. Yeah, it's going to be a slightly different shape just because I'm just adding slurs because they're fun. I like making lines. And then the next section is going to be piano, but guess what? Double line. We're going to need a new page for that. I haven't written any of the left hand here, so let's figure that out. Done. That's unfortunate, all the ledger lines here. Let's put this in treble clef. Oh, it only goes up to a G. It's fine, though. I'd still much rather read this. I think we're going to go back to bass clef here. Oh, that would be kind of cool. Nope. I mean, that's a neat idea. Too much, though. Is there anything simple we can do to make that less lame? Yep. That's the simple, less lame answer. I'm surprised. I'm kind of sad that it took this long to come up with this much music. I thought this would go much faster, but oh well. It's all that thinking. It was my hope that basically the first idea that I had would just work every time. And I think that's largely true, but there was a couple things that I had to work out. It wasn't the most complicated things, so I don't have a headache, and I can actually still talk and have energy. So all in all, not bad stream, but let's play at least the first part. It's kind of neat, though. The first theme and a transition into the second theme is already done in like an hour. It's not so bad for me. So here we go. And better fingering so I can actually hit that note. I'm going to write in the fingering here. 5, boom. Do it, Simon. Let's see how that sounds. Let's see how it sounds. Not quite that fast. A little faster. We can give it a little more pep. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if it were down an octave like this.